Hello, welcome. Now imagine this. You switch off one bulb in your house and suddenly every other bulb goes off. Sounds strange, right? But that's exactly what will happen if your house was wired the wrong way. You see, in electricity, there are two main ways components are connected. We have the series connection and the parallel connection. Now, what do I mean by series connection? You see, series connection, the components are connected end to end, such that there is only one path for current to flow. Now, what that means is that the same current flows through all the components while the voltage is shared across. Now, the implication of this is that if one component is faulty, every other component will be affected. Hence, if one bulb goes off, every other bulb will automatically go off. That is why series connection is not used for your house wiring. Now, the second we have is the parallel connection. Now, under the parallel connection, components are connected across the same point, such that there are multiple paths for current to flow. Hence, the current is shared across while the voltage is kept constant. Now, what this means is that each component functions independently from the other. So if one component is faulty or is affected, other components will keep working. That is why in your house, one bulb can go off and every other bulb will remain on. So we use a parallel connection for house wiring. Now look at this. This is a series connection. Like you can see, the components are arranged end to end, joined end to end. So there's only one path for current to flow. Now you can be asked to calculate the total resistance. Under a series connection, the total resistance for resistor R1, resistor R2, resistor R3. So the total resistance RT becomes the resistance of the first resistor R1 plus the resistance of the second resistor R2 plus the resistance of the third resistor R3. So I have that RT for the series arrangement. RT, that's the total resistance equals R1 plus R2 plus R3. So the sum of all the individual resistance of the resistor. Now for a parallel connection, like you can see, they are connected. They are connected across. So we have total resistance 1 over RT equals 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. Take note of this. So under the parallel connection, where the components are connected across, you have that 1 over RT, 1 over RT. Of course, I've said that your RT is your total what? Resistance, equals 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3, where you have R1, R2, and R3 as the individual resistance of the resistors. Now, let's look at this calculation. We have three resistors, 2 ohm, 3 ohms, and 5 ohms are connected in series. In series, what did I say? We mean by series connection again, end to end, okay, to a 10-volt battery. Now we are told to find the current in the circuit, okay. So how do we solve this question? How do we solve this question? How do we solve this question? Now, first thing first, like I always advise my student, is to bring out your parameters, okay? So let's do that. We bring out our parameters. All right. So we are told three resistors, 2 ohms, 3 ohms, and 5 ohms. So these are the resistance now. So we have R1 as 2 ohm. We have R2 as 3 ohm. Then we have R3 as what? 5 ohm. Connected in series to a 10-volt battery. So the voltage is equal to 10. All right. In series. So series is end to end. Don't forget, end to end. End to end. Okay, so this is my R1, this is my R2, this is my R3. The value for this is 2 ohms. Value for this is 3 ohms. Value for this is 5 ohms. Okay. Now, first thing first, we're going to get the combined resistance of the total resistance. That's RT. Now, I told you for a series connection, it is the sum of the individual resistance. So I have R1 plus R2 plus R3. That's 2 ohms plus 3 ohms plus 5 ohms. That gives us what? 10 ohms. So my combined resistance is 10 ohms. Now we're given that the voltage is 10. Now we're asked to find the current. How do we get the current? From Ohm's law. Ohm's law, okay? Now Ohm's law tells us that V equal to I what? R. So if I make I, where V is your voltage, I is your current, R is your what? Resistance. If I make I the sort of formula, I have that I is equal to V over R. So I equal to V over R. Now in this question, my V is what? 10. Then the R is a combined resistance, the total resistance, that is 10. 10 here 1, 10 here 1. It means my answer is what? 1. What's the unit of current? Ampere. So the final answer equals 1 ampere. Let me know if you got value into this class. Bye.